This episode of WDW Today is being sponsored by All Star Vacation Homes, and 2010 is the year of vacation homes. Well, according to me at least. So why not take advantage of an All Star Vacation Home and stay in one this year? That's right. You haven't stayed in one before? Go for it. Or if you're like Newell and staying there all the time, well, all the more reason to go there again, because it's definitely the great opportunity for you to check them out. Visit All Star Vacation Homes at www.allstarvacationhomes.com.
This is Walt Disney World Today. Give us 5 minutes and we'll give you the world.
It's Friday, January 1st, 2010, and this is episode 664 of WDW Today. I'm Matt Hochberg of StudioCentral.com. Joining me on today's show is Len Testa, co-author of the Industrial Guide to Walt Disney World. And Len, if you could just do me a favor and keep it down, rough night last night.
Why is everyone yelling?
Will someone please turn off that damn bell? Also joining us on today's show is Mike Scopa, a senior feature writer and blogger for allears.net. Welcome, Mike.
No more red light.
Great movie ride.
Great movie ride.
That's correct.
Also joining on today's show is Mike Newell of Mouse World Radio. Happy 2010, Mike. What is your New Year's resolution for this year?
Oh, my God. You put me on the spot. My New Year's resolution is to do less shows.
Less shows. We'll get things started off right. With the show on January 1st, I think you're guaranteed to have more shows than last year.
Great.
Also joining us on today's show is the fabulous Annette Owens of MEI and Mouse Fan Travel. Welcome to the show, Annette.
Hey guys, I probably got a little more sleep than you guys last night. Y'all all welcomed in the year.
That's right. 3 a.m. at the studios will do it to you, babe. Whew. Whew. Well, it's January 1st, and coming up this week is the marathon, the Disney World half and full marathon, and I lost a bet, and so we have to talk about running, and this will be our running show for the year. But
okay, see you
the marathon for the year. But the Disney Marathon and the Half Marathon are big events at Walt Disney World, and many of you had questions about the marathon. So we're gonna, mix these in with some commentary from Mr. Scopa and Mr. Testa, both of whom have run in them. Len barely, but he did it. And
barely? You were bare?
Well, he almost died on the course.
A, I finished.
That's right.
B, CA.
At least he made the attempt.
I got my medal.
That's right. So anyway, we're gonna start out with a question here.
Like I'm debating Lance Armstrong over here. Go ahead. What's your first question?
Lee from Houston writes, my wife recently ran her first marathon in San Antonio. She's planning on also doing the Houston Marathon in January. With my wife's newfound passion for marathon running, this seems like the perfect opportunity or excuse to plan our next trip to the world. By the way, I'm listening to episode 514, Running is a Cruel Mistress, while sending this email. What resort would you suggest that she stay at to have the best experience for the Disney World Marathon? We normally stay at Port Orleans, but we might be able to budget for a deluxe. There will be 2 adults and 3 children. If we did stay with the moderate, what would be our best choice?
You're going to get transportation from all the moderates. If there's a deluxe, though, I don't know. I'd like an Epcot resort, maybe a Swan or Dolphin if it's a budget issue. But you want something where you can just walk through Epcot and be done with it when you're done.
Scopa, what are your thoughts?
I agree with Len. Although, staying on the Polynesian and taking the monorail that morning would be kind of nice.
Oh yeah. That's right.
For that, yeah.
Yeah, you could stay at the Contemporary or the Poly or the yeah.
The closer you are to Epcot, the better. Because you want to get there early, and so that means a little bit more sleep. That means you don't have to rush in the morning. So, but if if you have a car and you're going to drive to Epcot, then it really doesn't matter. I mean, I'd pop the Caribbean. One of those would work too.
Okay.
The other thing I like about when you're done is the being able to walk around a park just to kind of keep your legs going. What you want to avoid is going right to bed after your marathon, like hopping on a bus and then going back to your resort and just collapsing. You're just going to end up getting stiff and sore. The best I've ever felt after a race is when I stayed moving for most of the rest of the day.
Yep.
Hey, Len, I heard a rumor about the marathon. I was wondering if you could dispel it or not. Someone told me that the best place to go after the marathon is La Cava del Tequila in Epcot, Mexico. Is that true?
Yeah, you definitely want to ice yourself down, ice your body down, and then a couple of painkillers. Yeah, no, I think that's probably a bad idea. You want to make sure you're hydrated, and you know what I like? I like swimming after the marathon too. After a race, I find it kind
But
of.
you haven't burned enough carbs yet.
Well, no, but I mean it's so it kind of cools your body down because the water's going to be cooler than, well, it's not as cold as ice, but it's still the water's going to be relatively cool, and it'll help with the inflammation in your legs. And also loosens things up, right? You get off your feet, you kind of stretch things out a little bit. I really like swimming.
Okay. Next email is from Enrique, who writes, "Hello, Len, Matt, Scopa, Newell, and the fabulous Annette Owens. You guys did a great job covering Magic Meets. I love the Twitter updates by Scopa. I'll be participating in the Disney Half Marathon in January 2010. Before
Awesome.
the race is the area of storage space, such as lockers, where I can store my keys, wallet, and cell phone securely.
Mike?
Well, what happens is that when you get your bib or your number, there is an attachment on the bottom. And what you can do is you detach that, and it'll have your number. And you would put like all your belongings in a bag or whatever, and you just hand that off, and that'll be like a bag check. And when you go back after the race, they look at your bib number. Oh, 1967432. Here you go. That's
Yeah,
your
so
locker.
They'll give you a
Wow.
bag. They'll give you a tag with your bag, and they'll store it for you.
Hey, Mike, Scopa, you're running in the full this year or the half?
I'm doing the half.
Okay, just wanted to put that out there. And Len, you opted not to run this year?
No, I'm not going to run this year. I didn't have enough time to train. I did end up doing 5 books this year. It kind of took off my training, but I do plan on running at least a couple of races this year in Disney.
Right, and you've done them before, so obviously you can talk from past experience.
I've got nothing to prove.
Only 5
But I would
books.
like to run the Princess in the inaugural October half.
Me
I
too.
think those look like fun. Yeah,
Me too.
Don't forget also you got the Princess Half Marathon during 10's event.
that's what I'm saying. The Princess and the October race are at least two that I'd look for.
You mean
And there's
or,
Because
both
nothing
halves.
says get ready for a race like sleeping in a tent on a camping.
or an RV?
The half marathon for me is by far the easier race. I mean, it takes much less time for me to train.
Oh, absolutely, Newell. Wouldn't you agree? Come on, child's play.
Sleeping in an RV really makes it better.
You guys are getting an RV?
No,
We're talking tour bus, Len.
no,
Yeah. Oh,
No.
it's already.
No,
yeah.
What is-
no.
Annette,
Talk-
I'm surprised
that's
at
right.
you.
They're talking to John Madden. They want his bus.
I'm surprised at you.
We should totally do an RV.
Let's put it this way: we have to have somebody drive this in for us because it's that big.
Awesome.
That's all I'm- that's
I'm staying
all
I'm staying with you guys. I'm staying with you guys then.
That's all I'm
staying with you.
saying.
Okay, back to marathon.
Back to marathon. Jennifer writes, "Hi, WWTA team from beautiful Leland, Mississippi, the original hometown of Kermit the Frog."
Nice.
Could be D-Frog here.
Kermit the Frog. I thought he was from. I don't remember.
I'll never touch pork with a fork.
I'll be heading down to the world in January for my first Walt Disney World marathon. Well, maybe I should say a second, as I'm writing this email in October, which means you'll likely not get to it until before the 2010 marathon. But if things don't go as I plan, making it a regular occurrence. This will be a short trip at only 3 days on my first solo trip. I know from previous running experiences that it is best to push through as long as possible before. I will only be able to tour 2 parks during my trip. I'm planning a longer trip this May, so this isn't upsetting. What park would you recommend for the day before the marathon? What about the day of?
Okay, not the Animal Kingdom. Okay, Jennifer, if there's any piece of advice you take from us, do not tour the Animal Kingdom
Right.
during your trip.
We should wait a second. We'll isolate and edit that part out.
Yes.
We'll just say that for everything. But yeah,
Yeah.
what would you say?
The-
Scopa?
Go ahead.
I'm with Len. I mean, one of the challenges of doing a half or a full marathon in Walt Disney World, especially if you don't go down there that often, is you're really tempted to do as much as you can while you're there. And that means a day or two before the race. And that can be a problem because if you're using your legs, if you're walking around, if the sun it happens to be a nice warm, your energy is being drained, and
Yeah.
you have to watch out for that challenge. So, Len, number 1, said the Animal Kingdom. Number 2, unless you can do a very leisurely stroll, you stay away from Epcot. I would say
It's
the
just
studios.
big, yeah.
Yeah, the studios or the Magic Kingdom, and I'd say take it easy. Just don't do it commando style. You don't want to pull a Fred Hazelton or a Henry. You don't want to try to break any records. You want to just take it easy.
Yeah, the thing with the Animal Kingdom is the pavement is so uneven that it really does a number on your joints, and you feel it the next day. The other
I've run
thing
2
is,
races there, Len. They had the race for the Cure there. I couldn't
Yeah.
believe running in there. It was just terrible.
It's painful. So the other thing is if you're gonna do any walking the day before the race, call it a day by like 2:00 and go back and get some rest. I ended up touring the entire day before the Princess Half, and I'm telling you, it knocked 30 seconds off my mile pace. It was just no, it was not. I mean, sorry, it added.
Oh,
it wasn't it wasn't good at all. Yeah, no, I ended up getting too tired.
What about a day of, like, you run the marathon and
pretty much anything. I mean,
do anything you want. Yeah. You want to go. You want, like Len said earlier. You want to keep moving, and you treat it like a regular day after the race. You definitely need to eat. You definitely need to move. Definitely need to hydrate. But I would say go until you drop.
Exactly.
Any Jennifer adds any recommendations for a celebratory meal?
You eat anything you want.
After you've run 13 miles, I'd say go to a buffet. I'd say go to Pesca House.
When I run, I burn about 110 calories for every mile. So that's like 1,300 to 2,600 calories depending on the race.
Beat you on that one. When I run a half marathon, I burn between 3,500 and 3,700 calories.
Do you really?
Yeah.
Wow. So, dude, I mean, if you had in like the 2,000 or so that you should be eating in a day, you could have like 2 dinners.
And I will.
And you will. Why? What a fabulous idea! I think I shall.
Next question is from Ed from Carmel, Indiana. He writes, "It's been said many times, but it's worth one more. Great podcast. Starting to plan a multi-family trip to run half or full marathons in 2011. Everyone running is an experienced marathoner. At the moment, I'm the only one planning on running the Goofy race, although I'm hoping a couple others will join the Insanity. Of course, for those who aren't aware, the Goofy is where you run the half marathon and the full marathon.
Stop the insanity.
We're planning to stay at a Disney resort using the dining plan. We do plan on going to the parks each day after the race, but realistically, we're spending a fair amount of time at the resort, resting on the Friday before the races start, and then on the race days for recovery. I was wondering about resort recommendations for marathoners, since we'll tend to view things a bit differently than normal guests. For example, access to running paths, healthy eating options, non-room places to relax between races. We're looking at a lower price deluxe or a moderate resort. Animal Kingdom Lodge or Fort Wilderness Lodge seems like good choices because of the on-site amenities and restaurants, but I rarely hear you recommend either of these resorts. What would you suggest?
I would say Port Orleans because of the Saskalula river path. You can you can loosen up your legs there. It's really one of those resorts where you got the riverside, you've got a French Quarter, and if you're going to run those 2 races and you really want to loosen up, that would be a good place to go because it's away from the beaten path, and they also have they've got decent food courts there. Decent, not great, but decent.
This next email I think might be relevant for those of us who will be there for Marathon Weekend, but might actually be running in it. So, Len, this is a good question for you. Douglas wants to know, how crowded are the theme parks during the marathon? January 3rd arrival. I booked my Orlando vacation then and do not want to be stuck in bottlenecks.
Not bad at all. Not bad at all. Average.
Okay. Well, Bob Hendricks has a follow-up to that, and he writes, with that, what parks would you recommend that would be the least crowded on the days that the races are held?
Oh, wow.
So Epcot would probably be the most crowded only because that's where the finish is. So I would say Magic Kingdom, Animal Kingdom, Studios.
Well, you're talking 2 days. You're talking 2 days, Len. So on Saturday, first off, there's 2. You have to think of it in terms of morning and afternoon. So in the morning, on both Saturday, at least on Saturday, I would say Animal Kingdom and Studios are fine. I'd almost say both of them okay on Sunday, and then in the afternoon, then I would think about Epcot and or Magic Kingdom, but I would stay away from Epcot and the Magic Kingdom. Well,
early,
yeah.
And
Studios, Animal Kingdom might be the way to go.
Yeah, that's what I would think. Yeah.
Keep in mind, if you're driving, sometimes you're going to run into detours.
It's very
That's a good point.
Right.
Very bad. I mean, if you're going to go to the Magic Kingdom or Epcot on either Saturday or Sunday morning during the marathon weekend, be prepared for some delays, and that's why I'm saying stay away from those parks unless you can use the monorail.
All right.
Hey, does everybody dress up for the marathon like they did for Princess Marathon, or was that something special? Because I've just been down
people
during
do weird
Princess
things,
Marathon.
I've seen it. I've seen one guy. He dressed up in a full Jack Sparrow costume, and he did the whole half marathon.
Wow,
Yeah.
Newell, that's
Amazing.
Yeah, I dress to impress.
impressive.
I have to say though, for being someone that doesn't run, I was coming in last year when we did the 10 event, and I was seeing everybody running, and it was amazing. It was almost like watching a parade.
Is it? Am I correct? Am I correct, Scopa, that generally people dress up for other races? Like the marathon is more serious than the other races in terms of people dressing up and stuff like that.
I think so. I've run in a couple of 10Ks, a couple of 15K, and a couple of 5Ks down there, and each one seems to have an assortment of interesting runners who like to run with a theme. I remember one year I did a 15K, and it was for just women, and there were a couple of guys that were dressed in tutus, and they were running.
It's like those old Bud Light commercials. You guys remember that, where there was women's night and the guy. Anyway.
Yeah.
Thank you, Mike. Well, anyway, don't forget that this episode of WDW Today has been sponsored by All Star Vacation Homes. And you know what? Even if you're not running at the in the marathon this year, maybe you're like the as Len called me, Lance Armstrong, and you wanted to just relax, perhaps let cheer your comrades on from your nice comfy bed
From the private pool.
from the private pool, right? And have
From the hot tub.
Bloody Marys in the morning, and well,
Bloody
it's hard to beat having your own all-star vacation home to celebrate that in, and that way when they're all done and sweaty, and they come back, they have their own shower to shower, and they don't have to use your shower,
Yeah.
and that way afterwards you guys can relax and have some more drinks or do whatever you'd like to do. Maybe watch some Star Wars riff tracks, whatever floats your boat, really. Check them out
Awesome.
at www.allstarvacationhomes.com. For find our older episodes, read our show notes, or send us your comments. Visit the WDW Today website at wdwtoday.com. For Len Testa, Mike Scopa, and Mike Newell, and of course the fabulous Ned Owens, I'm Matt Hochberg. We'll see you on the next show.
Happy New Year!
Stupid Judy, stupid energy.
This has been a production of Mouse World Radio.